Silent Hill 2 is often regarded as the best game in the Silent Hill franchise, and honestly, it makes sense. It's introspective, emotional, and horrifying in a way that feels timeless. And for many, it is the definitive Silent Hill experience. But that's the problem. And that's because there is a game that not many people outside the Silent Hill fandom know about that is what I believe to be the true Silent Hill experience. So no, this video isn't going to be about tearing down Silent Hill 2. It's going to be about giving Silent Hill 3 the attention it deserves. Silent Hill 2 is the kind of game that swallows a conversation whole. Ask almost anyone which entry in the series is best, or which one they know, and guess what? You'll hear the same answer every single time. It's not just that it's good, it's important. It changed how horror games were written. It gave us symbolism layered over symbolism, grounded in themes of guilt, denial, and punishment. And it delivered all of it with a subtlety that made you lean in, unsure if you're really seeing what you thought you were seeing. And this is good. Games like that leave a mark. But they also leave a problem. When one game becomes the face of an entire franchise, everything else is forced to live in its shadow. And for Silent Hill 3, that shadow was enormous. Let's be honest here, Silent Hill 2 was more of an experiment than a Silent Hill game. Silent Hill 2 had a completely different storyline that doesn't connect to any other part of the main Silent Hill series. Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3 were connected to each other and had a more solid story. Silent Hill 2 felt more of like a spin-off than anything else. So what does Silent Hill 3 actually do to separate itself from all the other Silent Hill games? Well, you gotta keep watching to find out. Unlike the action heroes of modern survival horror games, I'm looking at you, Leon, Heather Mason stands out. She's basically just your average teenage girl. While James Sunderland from Silent Hill 2 is more stoic, she isn't afraid to express some emotion or, be a little sarcastic.
Just a joke.
Now, with everything I'm saying, you gotta remember, Silent Hill 2 was more of a character study than anything else, and Silent Hill 3 isn't. Yes, there's character development, and yes, we do learn a lot more about Heather throughout the game. It's not the main focus, and we know this because we're not taking a deep look into her psyche as we did with James Sunderland. It's a different sort of perspective. It's in this combination that we get to see Heather as more human than we would in another character, let's say James Sunderland. At the end of the day, we can connect to this character more so than many of the other Silent Hill protagonists. Especially you, Silent Hill 4. This is how the game truly terrifies its player, because if the game can make Heather feel alive, the protagonist, then everything else in the world of Silent Hill becomes more real. It helps you immerse into the world of the game. And crap, when you see a scary monster on screen, you feel like you're getting chased, not Heather. Unless we're talking about VR, I've seen only a few games immerse the player as much as this game has. Cause I don't feel like I'm playing a horror game, I feel like I'm in one. At the end of the day, this is how the game separates itself from other survival horror games, or horror games in general, even till this day. It's because the devs aren't afraid to get a little quirky. But Heather isn't the only one who gets characterization. Douglas Cartland is another character that the player meets on a frequent basis that exemplifies this trait. Douglas is grounded, he's tired, flawed, and undeniably human. His weary voice and hesitant movements makes the player feel like he's actually someone that they could meet in real life. He's the character whose presence in a supernatural nightmare that is Silent Hill 3 makes it more unsettling, not less, because his reactions mirror what we would expect from a real person, and this is what immerses us a lot more than in a game that doesn't have these traits. Don't believe me? Well, look at Claudia. Claudia contrasts everything I just said about Douglas and Heather. She is alien in her mannerisms.
But God loves even you.
She's basically the exact opposite. She has slow and deliberate speech. She has emotionless facial expressions, and she also introduces a kind of calm that feels wrong in the face of horror, showing how she is normalized with all these weird things happening in the background that make Silent Hill 3 scary. Her inhuman qualities, especially her lack of eyebrows, makes every scene that she's in feel like you've stepped into another plane of reality. She doesn't just oppose Heather, she embodies the nightmare itself, and that's what's most important. You can't reason with her because she doesn't even think like a normal person. That otherworldly detachment enhances Silent Hill's dreamlike dread. Claudia's alien-like mannerisms help separate our world from the alien-like and horrifying world of Silent Hill 3 and the people that inhabit it.
Heather. That's what you're called now, isn't it? The name's Vincent. Don't forget it, okay? I'm on your side. Her? You mean Claudia? Please don't lump me together with her. She was brainwashed by that crazy old hag. Well, I guess crazy old hag is a bit harsh. She was your mother after all. You don't remember. So Harry didn't tell you anything. I guess he hid the truth to keep you on his side. That figures. He is a pretty sneaky guy.
Don't talk about my dad like that!
Sorry, I apologize. Please, calm down.
How do you know my father anyway?
I know everything. I know about your past, too.
Then tell me what's going on!
You don't even know that? Why not enjoy yourself a bit longer? Oh, it gets to me all right. I find it most fascinating. Wait! I'm not finished talking.
Just to write home what I'm saying, there's also another character called Vincent, who I think also represents more of the alien-like and manipulative side of Silent Hill. He has a more smug and slippery and insincere demeanor around him, just like Claudia, that makes him feel just that little bit more uncanny than what a real human would act like, that also writes home that there's something wrong in the world that Heather is roaming in. He always seems to be one step ahead whenever he's talking to you, and his brand of humanity is more so dangerous because it plays on your uncertainty. You're never sure how much of what he actually says is the truth or what is actually calculated lies. We know he's involved with the cult that, the antagonist Claudia is in, so you can never be really sure if he's actually on your side, even if he tells you that he is. Vincent also doesn't just inhabit the horror, he makes you doubt your perception of it. That's why every character in this game is so masterfully crafted. Each one represents something different about the world that the Silent Hill 3 takes place in. Heather is the more relatable side, someone that you can confide in, someone that transports you as like a medium into the world, making it more immersive. Douglas is this relatable, also outsider that helps you show what a person like you would also feel as if you're going into Silent Hill for the first time. Someone is experiencing all these events newly, And then we got Claudia, who represents something just off, something alien-like, something wrong. And Vincent, who makes you doubt your perception of the world around you. Each one helps add a layer of fear to this world, and that's what's so amazing. Let's face it, Silent Hill has always been a place where the environment mirrors the mind of whoever's trapped in it. That's what made Silent Hill 2 so good. In Silent Hill 2, the town shaped itself around James Sunderland's guilt. Great. How does Silent Hill 3 manage this? In Silent Hill 3, the nightmare is Heather's this time. And once you realize that, you can start to see little tidbits here and there, little parts of the game that help center around the core themes. Everything feels more personal. That push and pull that we saw between human and inhuman characters that we talked about earlier, with Heather and Douglas contrasting Claudia and Vincent, yeah, the environments work the same way. One moment you're in a grounded and believable space, the normal world, but in other places you go into some weird alien area, like the nightmare worlds. Instead of a believable backdrop like a mall food court, a subway platform, an office hallway, the kinds of places that you could walk into tomorrow without thinking twice, turn into a rusted, decaying, breathing, kind of alive area that honestly looks disgusting and reflects the fears that Heather has. You never know if the next door you open will lead to safety or to something a lot worse. In this way, the horror isn't just around Heather, it's about her. Every hallway, every street, every room feels like it was built from her memories, her fears, and her guilt. That's why Silent Hill 3's environments are more than just set dressings. They're a direct window into the mind of the protagonist, and, by extension, a window into the player's own unease. The monster designs also deepen this effect. They aren't just random abominations. They feel like they're born from Heather's experiences, her vulnerabilities. The split heads drag their bodies like predators too large for the hallways they stalk. The pendulums are impossible machines of flesh and blade, buzzing and twitching like nightmares caught in motion. The closers, hulking, faceless things with arms that seem to be fused to their torsos. They all feel suffocating, like they're designed to corner you and to invade your personal space. They don't just attack you physically, they violate the sense of safety that the human world gave you moments before. This interplay between the mundane and the monstrous is the heartbeat of Silent Hill 3's horror. The game never lets you settle in either space for too long, and therefore not letting you feel comfortable for too long. The second you start to feel safe in a real-world location, something inhuman seeps in. A flicker in the lighting, a strange shadow in the distance, a door that shouldn't be there, and then, just you know it, you're in an entirely different world. And when you're deep in that nightmare, the memory of the real world makes it hit harder. You remember what safety felt like just mere moments before, so its absence is even louder. I'm just going to take a moment to tell you guys that the graphics in this game hold up really well. For a game that released on a PS2 a while, like 20 years ago, it looks amazing. This game still has a creepy setting that works with the graphics that it's given. And the fact that this released on the PS2 is even more stunning because the graphics feel like they're from a generation above. Something from like the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3. And if you take in the HD remasters, which I know you guys think aren't good, the game looks even better. And I'm just going to go out to say this because the graphics do help play in creating a creepy yet beautiful in some sort of way environment. And it's not just visual, the sound design in this game is relentless in pulling you into her mind. The mall's cheerful background noise, the song I will put up right now, The distant shadow, the hum of escalators, it all gives way to metallic groans and the rattling of unseen chairs, and a low, irregular industrial thump that feels almost like a heartbeat. The audio tells you that you're somewhere wrong, long before the visuals confirm it, and it's not just a haunted space, it's a space that knows you're there. But the horror in Silent Hill 3 isn't just about what's chasing Heather in the streets and corridors, it's about what's chasing her in her own mind. The shift from the human to the inhuman isn't random, it's a reflection of who she is, and where she's been, and the dark inheritance that she can't outrun. It's here, buried beneath the rust, the shadows, and the whispers, that Silent Hill 3 reveals its true heart. A story about identity and the weight of the past and the trauma that shapes who we become. And to understand why this game deserves more recognition, we have to confront that heart head on. Silent Hill 3 is a game about more than just monsters and survival. At its core, it's about identity. The kind you're born with, the kind you build for yourself, and the kind that you inherit whether you like it or not. For Heather Mason, those two identities are constantly colliding. She's not just an ordinary teenager caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. She's the adopted daughter of Harry Mason, survivor of the first Silent Hill game. And she's the reincarnation of Alessa Gillespie, the tortured girl whose suffering gave birth to the town's nightmare. This layered identity is where the trauma comes in. Silent Hill 3 doesn't just tell us that Heather has baggage, it shows us. The environments, the way she reacts to events, and the distorted images of herself reflected back into the world all show a projection of the wounds that she had that never fully healed. The terror isn't just about a faceless evil, it's about the scars of the past demanding to be acknowledged. And that past is heavy. The entire game is haunted by the events of the first Silent Hill. That's also why it makes it so good. It's a sequel through and through. The entire game has the weight of the entire cult's obsession from the first game. Heather isn't just being hunted because of something she did, she's being hunted because of something she is. And that's where the idea of legacy becomes unavoidable. This isn't her fight, but she's forced to finish it. The cult sees her not as a person, but as a vessel, a tool for their god's rebirth. And that strips away her humanity in the most chilling way possible. And that's why Silent Hill 3 hits so hard. It's because the horror isn't just external, it's intimate. It's about the fear of losing who you are under the weight of other people's expectations, of having your identity overwritten by a role you never chose. And in Heather's case, that fear isn't a metaphor, it's literally happening. In the end, what makes Silent Hill 3 so powerful is that it asks a question we don't like to think about. How much of you is really yours? How much is shaped by the people who came before, or by the traumas you inherited? And what happens when the answer is not much? This isn't just a story about fighting monsters, it's a story about fighting for yourself. Yes, Silent Hill 2 casts a long shadow, and for good reason. Its story of guilt, grief, and personal damnation has been studied and celebrated for decades, especially on YouTube. But in that shadow lies a game that doesn't just continue the series' tradition of psychological horror, it redefines it in its own way. Silent Hill 3 is not a sequel that simply rides off the coattails of its predecessor. It's a game that tackles themes just as heavy, just as human, but through a completely different lens. Where Silent Hill 2 is about the destructive weight of guilt, Silent Hill 3 is about the inescapable pull of legacy, about the things you never chose, but are still forced to bear. It's about surviving not only a nightmare, but a nightmare you were born into. This is a story heavily rooted in inevitability. Heather's journey isn't just about a voluntary descent into Silent Hill, she doesn't choose to seek out the truth. The truth hunts her. It drags her into the fog, into the rust, and into the darkness. And it demands that she confronts a past life that she never asked for. That sense of inevitability makes her fight feel all the more desperate, and it gives the game a uniquely oppressive atmosphere that even Silent Hill 2 can't replicate. Yes, Silent Hill 2 will always be celebrated, but Silent Hill 3 deserves to stand right beside it, not as the younger sibling living in its shadow, but as its equal. It is sharper, more intimate, and more thematically daring than it's often given credit for. Because at its core, Silent Hill 3 is about a simple, universal fear that the past will define you, whether you want it to or not. And in that way, it's not just one of the best horror games ever made, it's one of the most human. Even as a lifelong horror fan, I never truly discovered Silent Hill 3 until I started playing survival horror games. The only Silent Hill game I knew at the time was Silent Hill 2, as it was the only one I saw being praised on YouTube. When I learned about the other Silent Hill games, I became fascinated with the franchise, and then I found out about the other titles. That's when I learned that, to an outside viewer, Silent Hill games seems just like a niche fandom that wasn't worth their time. Especially before the Silent Hill 2 remake, the series fell down into a deep slump that many thought was the death of the franchise. To newer generations who didn't grow up with the PlayStation 2, even horror fans found games like Silent Hill 3 as obscure, and I know this because of my own personal experience. Hopefully, if this video does well, then I can spread the message that Silent Hill 3 is worth your time, and that you should pick up a copy, HD remaster or otherwise, because let's be honest here, the remaster is worth it if you don't want to drop like $200 for the game itself, and then another 200 big ones for the original hardware required to play it. And hey, to you, yes you, the viewers who've watched this video until this moment, thank you, genuinely. And remember, feel free to comment and subscribe. It always makes my day reading your guys' comments and reminds me that, yes, indeed, real people are actually watching my video. Also, this is my first video that I've edited on a new editing software, DaVinci Resolve, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Thank you for watching, everyone, and remember, stay safe.